Hey friends, welcome back to another bathroom chats video. So these videos are videos where I try to give you guys advice or answer your questions on certain topics that you have sent in. So if you do have any questions or things you would like my view or my opinion on, be sure to leave them in the comments down below and I'll include your question in one of the upcoming bathroom chats video. So let's jump right on into today's question. Today I've kind of chosen the topic of social media and things that come with that. So the first question is your opinion about social media or Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok taking over our lives and them just shoving unnecessary information or negative things to us. And do you consider deleting these social media apps like what others are doing here on YouTube? How do you keep your life simple without social media influencing you? So this is a really big and difficult topic, and I certainly have a love-hate relationship with social media, and I struggle with it so much. I think there's so much good in getting inspired, getting connected, creating on social media, which is so much of the good, but then there's also so much potential comparison, so much potential negativity, so much potential hate, and that is just a big downside of social media. What I really dislike about social media and what I struggle with so much is the addictive quality of it. I don't know if you guys have seen the documentary Social Dilemma. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's a documentary about social media, how it is designed, how it is affecting us, and it's very scary to see, but also very necessary, I think, to raise that awareness. And they also talked about the addictive quality of social media, how it is designed to get us addicted, how the scrolling is trying to mimic those casino lever games. I don't know what it's called. So they're designed to get us addicted to want to scroll and keep consuming, and for us to get that reward effect in our brain that keeps us on the app, because the longer we spend time on the app, the more money the company makes. And what I think is also really scary about social media is that it has taken the aspect of keeping up with the Joneses and just magnified that by a million times. So before, you were trying to keep up with your neighbors down the street. If they renovated their house and had the newest appliances, you kind of wanted to keep up with that and keep up with the trend and what other people are doing. But now you're not just comparing yourself to the neighbor down the street, you're comparing yourself to the whole world, and everyone is trying to show their best angle and show nicest things about themselves, and you're now comparing yourself suddenly to everyone, to people you before wouldn't even have access to. Especially people like celebrities. Before, celebrities were just people you'd see on the screen, maybe in interviews here and there, and now we can follow them on social media and we feel like we can follow their day-to-day lives, and we see so many more aspects of them. I think especially in the category, you could say, of travel and weddings, I have personally noticed that there is such a big comparison aspect, where I feel like nowadays people are trying to travel as luxuriously and as expensively and as adventurously as possible. And when you see all that on social media, you feel like, wow, everyone is having such amazing travel experiences. I need to have that as well. And we start investing so much money and time into recreating those experiences that we see other people have, and we're just all spending so much money, and money we often don't have to keep up with the Joneses. And the same thing I feel like is seen in the wedding industry. I feel like weddings nowadays are so over the top, so extravagant, so luxurious, as if we're all kings and queens and we have these absolutely amazing, beautiful, stunning weddings that we probably cannot afford. And I think that's just a big problem with that we're trying to keep up with people that are just out of our financial league or out of our social league. Now, how do I deal with all this? I do definitely struggle with this a lot, and I try to set healthy boundaries with social media, but it is so difficult. So what I currently do is I have a time limit set on Instagram, because I know that Instagram is my problematic app that I get sucked into the most, and I'm definitely addicted to. So I have a timer set on there that I don't spend more than 45 minutes a day on Instagram, which is already a lot. And I also have a break timer, so if I'm on Instagram for longer than 10 minutes at a time, it will notify me that I've been on here for more than 10 minutes. Because what I think is dangerous is that I'll spend a few minutes on Instagram just looking about, and then those few minutes turn into 15 minutes that turn into half an hour, and that's just so much time that is lost that I want to be using differently, and I don't feel great after those 30 or however long minutes. So breaking that cycle of wanting to continue to scroll is really important for me. Also, when I feel like I'm just in too deep in this hole of social media, or I feel like the platform is just controlling me and my time too much that I'm comfortable with, I will take a complete break. So for me, often that is Instagram. I will delete the app off of my phone for a weekend or even a week or a month. Just kind of do like a little reset or detox, and I feel like that helps so much. Before, I used to get a little bit I'd feel a little bit guilty as a creator to just drop off, but I now know that that is so important for me and my mental health, and for me not to be wasting so much time on those platforms, that I will happily do so. They're so crucial, and I highly recommend everyone to do this. If you feel like you're getting sucked in too deep or controlled too much by the app, to just delete it off of your phone, even if it's just for the weekend. It feels so refreshing. You feel like you experience so much more in life, and yeah, it's something everyone has to do. And also just be honest with yourself, with the apps that you're using, how they're affecting you. So for me personally, for example, Pinterest is a very positive app. I don't spend a lot of time on there, and also every time I do spend time on there, I get really inspired. Whereas Instagram can be kind of 50-50. So sometimes I can get really inspired on the platform. Sometimes I do feel just not too great about myself, or just in general. And YouTube can also be sometimes problematic, because I just love YouTube so much that I'll find myself spending a lot of time watching videos. And things like TikTok, I feel like is just too stimulating and too fast and too much that I will not spend any time on there. And Facebook, I just luckily don't find too much interest, so I don't spend any time on there, and I don't even have Twitter. So also just limit the amount of different accounts that you have, maybe to the ones that bring you the most use and purpose and joy and inspiration. So when it comes to whether I've thought about deleting my social media, I have thought about that a lot of times. So never YouTube. I love YouTube too much that I would always stay on here, but I've thought about deleting Instagram a lot of times, since it is also a little bit my problematic app. But the positive aspects of Instagram is kind of what is keeping me on there, to be able to connect to you guys. I love messaging you guys on there and talking to you, and just, yeah, being able to connect with you one-on-one a little more deeper is just, I can't do that here on YouTube. So that is what is keeping me on there. But then I do have to be really careful with setting boundaries and deleting when it is necessary to protect myself, to take care of myself. So the next question is how to deal with social pressure and comparison. So I want to relate this to social media as well. Comparison is a big thing on social media, and I've kind of mentioned it already before. I think the difficult thing also is that we feel like social media is a platform where we get to follow these people that we don't know in real lives, often even like celebrities, and we can see day-to-day aspects of their lives, and we feel like we know them. We feel like we know their day-to-day, we're a part of their day-to-day, but the truth is we don't really know them. We don't know their day-to-day, because what we post on social media is just a very curated version of your life. It is a prettier side of your life. I mean, I do this as well. I post the tidier, prettier, more pleasant, healthier version of my life. I don't post the messy moments, the fights, the cries, the anxious, stressed moments, the unhealthy habits. I don't post all of that. And because the internet is a scary place and you want to protect yourself, it's really scary to put yourself out there like that. Just as you present a more curated and nicer, more pleasant version of yourself to your coworkers, for example, you don't necessarily want them or need them to know everything down to the nitty-gritty parts of your life. And that's okay to do so. But then the thing with social media is it fakes a sort of authenticity that isn't there. So it's really important to remember that what you see on social media, even though it seems like you know their day-to-day lives, you know them inside out, you really don't. It is just a presented, curated, not made up, but it's a highlight reel. And you have to remember that and not fall into the trap of thinking, wow, that person has everything together, they have the dream life, because they don't. Everyone has problems, everyone has fears, everyone has worries and weaknesses. Not a single person out there has it all. It might seem like it, but they really don't. And that's, I think, where the pressure and comparison comes in, when you feel like, oh, that person has it all and I'm such a loser over here and I have such a horrible life and my life sucks and I wish I had their life, because truthfully, you don't. And also, if I feel like the slightest bit of negativity or jealousy or comparison towards anyone on social media, I will unfollow them, not because they're a bad person or because what they're doing is wrong, but it's because of me, because I struggle to deal with that, or because certain aspects trigger me and my mental health. So I am setting a boundary to protect myself. I find that for me, that happens especially with people that I follow on my private Instagram account. I am completely logged out of there, because I have just found that seeing people I know back from school post their highlighted version or their highlight reel, I find that I compare myself to them so much more in that aspect, and then I feel bad. I've realized that is an aspect where the comparison and the jealousy often comes in. So I have completely dropped off of my private Instagram just so I can protect myself in that way. And just because I don't like their photos and don't follow them there doesn't mean I don't care about them or like them or love them the same way. If I were to meet up with them, I'd have an amazing time. It's just the curated highlight reel aspect of social media that I found is really dangerous for me. And when it comes to social pressure and comparison in real life, I feel like I used to deal with this a lot more before, and now I don't deal with this as much anymore in off of social media. I think just because I know what I want. I'm in a place in my life where I know where I want to go, I know what I want, I know what my path is supposed to look like, and so I can appreciate other people's paths without feeling like I need to go down that path as well, or I need to compare our paths, because I know they're just so different, and no two paths are the same, no two timelines are the same, that I can appreciate their path for what it is for them and be happy for them, and at the same time stay really focused on what I want, on my path and my journey. But I think the first thing you need to do is to get really clear on what you want, what that looks like for you, and know that, as I said, know that everyone's path is different, so there's no use in comparing yourself to other people's paths if you know what you want and what's right for you. And when you know that, all the social pressure and the outside opinions don't affect you as much anymore, because you have kind of like a tunnel vision. You know where you want to go and you're just so focused on that. Now, the last question for today is, how do you find contentment when feeling anxious, uneasy, etc.? Whenever I feel those things, I browse online, often for shit I don't need. I usually don't cave, but still. Now, this is really hard. I struggle with this as well. Whenever we feel uneasy or uncomfortable, we want to soothe that straight away by doing something that makes us feel good, that gives us that dopamine rush. So whether that's scrolling on social media, shopping online, shopping in person, drinking, smoking, eating, all these things can be coping mechanisms that we use to soothe and to get rid of that uneasy, negative feeling. And the thing is, it doesn't make us feel better afterwards. We feel just as bad or even worse afterwards. But still, it's like this, almost like a habit already. Whenever you feel bad, you go to your phone to scroll. At least that's often what I do. And it's really hard, but I think we have to go against the habit to actively not do what we usually do. So what really helps for me is to get outside and move your body and go into the fresh air, into nature. Now, I really dread going outside. I'm such a homebody that I love to stay inside and I hate going outside, but whenever I do, it helps so much to clear your head and to recenter yourself in a sense. So I highly recommend that. Also, just do something that you love, take care of yourself, do some form of self-care. But also know that it's okay to feel anxious or to feel bad. It's a part of life's ups and downs. And we have to focus on what we can control, which is how we react to those ups and downs in life. I saw this post on Instagram that I think is really helpful when it comes to this question. So again, social media can be a good thing. And it is, I'll read it to you. Sit with it. Instead of drinking it away, smoking it away, sleeping it away, eating it away, effing it away, or running from it, sit with it. Healing happens by feeling. So what it's basically saying is that sometimes it's necessary or important to just sit with the uneasy feeling. As uncomfortable as that is, it is also really important to accept and acknowledge that feeling, because that's when we can, I guess, accept it and then move on from it and heal from that. So we don't always have to instantly turn that negative feeling into a positive one. And whenever we're feeling down, we have to fix that and make ourselves feel happy again. We're allowed to sit there and to notice that feeling and to feel that feeling fully before we let it go. So these were the questions for today's bathroom chats. Hopefully these were helpful and you enjoyed them. I'm getting really hot in this bathroom, so I'm going to leave that for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, follow-up questions, leave them down below and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or this type of video, so I'll be sure to do more. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.